Retro Road Test, Ford Escort vs Talbot Horizon. Second attempt. The late 1970s and early 1980s were a transformative period for the European car industry. Economic factors, evolving consumer expectations, and advancements in automotive technology drove manufacturers to produce vehicles that were not only practical but also appealing to a broader range of drivers. In this context, the Ford Escort and the Talbot Horizon emerged as two of the most popular compact cars. This road test pits these two competitors against each other to determine which offers the better overall package in terms of design, performance, comfort, practicality, and value for money. Design and styling. Ford Escort. The Ford Escort, particularly the Mk3 model, was a significant departure from its predecessors. Introduced in 1980, the Mk3 Escort was Ford's first front-wheel drive Escort and marked a shift towards a more modern, angular design. The styling was sharp, with clean lines and a boxy profile that was both contemporary and aerodynamic for its time. The Escort's design was a blend of functionality and subtle flair, with features like its distinctive grille, large windows, and slightly flared wheel arches contributing to a solid, robust appearance. Inside, the Escort continued its functional design ethos. The dashboard was simple and logically laid out, with easy-to-read gauges and large, straightforward controls. The materials used were durable, if somewhat utilitarian, reflecting the car's focus on practicality. The seats were comfortable enough for everyday driving, although they lacked the support needed for more spirited driving. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon, launched in 1978, was a product of Chrysler Europe and later rebranded under the Talbot name after PSA Peugeot Citroën acquired the company. The Horizon was designed with the American market in mind, which influenced its somewhat more conservative styling. The design was more rounded compared to the Escort, with a softer, more approachable aesthetic. It featured a sloping rear hatch, a high roofline, and large windows, giving it a spacious and airy feel. The interior of the Horizon was similarly straightforward, with a focus on comfort and ease of use. The dashboard had a more rounded design compared to the Escort, with slightly more emphasis on style. The seats were plush and provided better support than those in the Escort, especially for longer journeys. However, the materials used in the Horizon's cabin were somewhat lower in quality, with more hard plastics and less attention to detail in the fit and finish. Verdict. While both cars are products of their time, the Ford Escort's design is more modern and cohesive. The Escort's sharper lines and more aggressive stance give it a more dynamic presence on the road, whereas the Horizon's softer, more conservative design feels a bit dated in comparison. Inside, the Horizon offers better seating comfort, but the Escort's higher quality materials and more ergonomic layout give it the edge. Performance and handling. Ford Escort. The Mk3 Escort was offered with a range of engines, from a modest 1.1-liter inline-4 to the more powerful 1.6-liter units found in the XR3 version. For this test, we'll focus on the 1.3-liter and 1.6-liter models, which were the most popular at the time. The 1.3-liter engine produced around 69 horsepower, which was adequate for city driving but struggled on faster roads. The 1.6-liter engine, with 96 horsepower, offered much better performance, providing a more engaging driving experience. The Escort's acceleration was decent, with the 1.6-liter model achieving 0 to 60 miles per hour in just under 10 seconds, which was competitive for the class. Where the Escort truly shined was in its handling. The switch to front-wheel drive gave it more predictable and secure handling characteristics. The suspension was well tuned, providing a good balance between comfort and agility. The steering was precise, if a little light, making the Escort easy to maneuver in tight spaces. On winding roads, the Escort felt composed and responsive, with minimal body roll and good grip. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon was also available with a range of engines, but for this comparison, we'll look at the 1.3-liter and 1.5-liter models, which were the most common. The 1.3-liter engine produced around 64 horsepower, while the 1.5-liter offered a slightly more robust 83 horsepower. Neither engine was particularly quick, but the 1.5-liter model provided sufficient power for most driving conditions, with a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of around 12 seconds. The Horizon's handling was more comfort-oriented than the Escort's. The suspension was softer, which made for a smoother ride over rough surfaces but also resulted in more body roll in corners. The steering was light and lacked the feedback of the Escort, making it feel less connected to the road. That said, the Horizon was stable and predictable, if not particularly exciting to drive. Verdict: in terms of performance and handling, the Ford Escort has a clear advantage. The more powerful engine options and sharper handling make it a more enjoyable car to drive, especially on twisty roads. The Talbot Horizon prioritizes comfort, which might appeal to some drivers, but it comes at the expense of driving engagement. Comfort and practicality. Ford Escort. The Escort's interior was spacious for a compact car, with enough room for 4 adults to sit comfortably. The front seats offered a good range of adjustment, and the driving position was generally comfortable, although taller drivers might find the seating position a bit too high. The rear seats provided adequate legroom, although headroom was slightly compromised by the car's sloping roofline. The Escort's boot was reasonably sized, with 18 cubic feet of space available with the rear seats in place, expanding to 45 cubic feet with the seats folded down. This made the Escort a practical choice for families or those needing to carry larger loads. The rear hatch was large and opened wide, making it easy to load and unload cargo. Talbot Horizon. The Horizon was known for its spacious interior, which was one of its main selling points. The high roofline and large windows gave the cabin a light and airy feel, with plenty of headroom and legroom for both front and rear passengers. The seats were comfortable and supportive, making the Horizon a pleasant car for long journeys. The boot was slightly smaller than the Escort's, with around 15 cubic feet of space, but the Horizon's more upright design made it easier to load bulky items. With the rear seats folded down, the Horizon offered a similar amount of cargo space to the Escort, around 45 cubic feet, making it equally practical for carrying larger loads. Verdict: the Talbot Horizon edges out the Ford Escort in terms of comfort and practicality. Its more spacious interior and better designed seats make it a more comfortable car for everyday use, especially on longer journeys. The Escort is still a practical car, but the Horizon's superior packaging gives it the advantage in this category. Build quality and reliability. Ford Escort. Ford had a strong reputation for building reliable cars, and the Escort was no exception. The Mk3 Escort was generally well built, with solid construction and good attention to detail. The materials used in the interior, while not luxurious, were durable and able to withstand the wear and tear of daily use. Mechanically, the Escort was relatively simple, which contributed to its reliability. The engines were robust and easy to work on, with parts readily available and affordable. However, the Escort was not without its flaws. Rust was a common issue, particularly in older models, and electrical problems were also reported by some owners. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon's build quality was somewhat more variable. While it was generally well constructed, it didn't have the same level of solidity as the Escort. The materials used in the interior were of lower quality, and the fit and finish were less precise, with some trim pieces prone to coming loose over time. In terms of reliability, the Horizon was somewhat less dependable than the Escort. The engines were generally reliable, but issues with the carburetor and cooling system were not uncommon. Rust was also a significant problem, particularly on early models, and electrical gremlins were more frequent than in the Escort. Verdict: the Ford Escort takes the lead in build quality and reliability. Its more robust construction and better materials give it the edge, and while it's not immune to rust and electrical issues, it's generally more reliable than the Talbot Horizon. Fuel economy and running costs. Ford Escort. The Ford Escort was reasonably efficient for its time. The 1.3-liter engine delivered around 32 to 35 miles per gallon, mpg, in mixed driving conditions, while the 1.6-liter unit achieved slightly less, around 30 to 32 mpg. The Escort's front-wheel drive layout and relatively light weight contributed to its good fuel economy. Running costs for the Escort were relatively low, with affordable parts and widespread availability of service centers. Insurance costs were also reasonable, making the Escort an economical choice for budget-conscious drivers. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon was similarly efficient, with the 1.3-liter engine delivering around 30 to 33 mpg and the 1.5-liter engine offering slightly better fuel economy at around 32 to 35 mpg. The Horizon's aerodynamic design helped to improve its fuel efficiency, although it was slightly heavier than the Escort, which offset some of the gains. Running costs for the Horizon were comparable to the Escort, with affordable parts and service. However, the Horizon's somewhat less reliable nature could lead to higher maintenance costs over time, particularly if common issues like rust and carburetor problems needed attention. Verdict: both cars offer similar fuel economy, but the Ford Escort's lower running costs and slightly better reliability give it the edge in this category. While the Talbot Horizon is still economical to run, its potential for higher maintenance costs makes the Escort a more cost-effective choice in the long run. Driving experience and character. Ford Escort. The Ford Escort, particularly in its 1.6-liter guise, offered an engaging driving experience that was rare in the compact car segment at the time. The responsive steering, good handling, and lively engine made it a car that was fun to drive, whether on a winding country road or navigating through city traffic. The Escort's front-wheel drive layout provided excellent traction and stability, making it feel secure and confidence-inspiring even in less than ideal conditions. The driving position was generally good, although the high seating position might not appeal to all drivers. The controls were well placed and easy to use, with a gear shift that was precise and satisfying to operate. The Escort was also relatively quiet, with good insulation from road and engine noise, although it could become a bit noisy at higher speeds. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon was designed with comfort and ease of use in mind, which was reflected in its driving experience. The steering was light and easy to manage, making it a breeze to drive around town, although it lacked the precision and feedback of the Escort. The suspension was soft, absorbing bumps and rough surfaces well, which made for a comfortable ride but at the expense of handling sharpness. The Horizon's driving position was more upright, which provided good visibility but could feel less sporty than the Escort. The gear shift was smooth, if a bit vague, and the controls were easy to reach and operate. The Horizon was also quieter than the Escort, with less engine and road noise filtering into the cabin, especially at lower speeds. Verdict: the Ford Escort offers a more engaging and enjoyable driving experience, particularly for those who value handling and performance. The Talbot Horizon prioritizes comfort and ease of use, which will appeal to drivers who prefer a more relaxed driving experience. Ultimately, the choice between the two comes down to whether you value driving fun or comfort more highly. Value for money. Ford Escort. The Ford Escort was competitively priced when new, offering good value for money in terms of features, performance, and reliability. The cost of ownership was relatively low, thanks to its efficient engines and affordable maintenance. The Escort also held its value reasonably well on the used market, thanks to its popularity and reputation for reliability. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon was slightly less expensive than the Escort when new, which made it an attractive option for budget-conscious buyers. It offered a lot of car for the money, particularly in terms of interior space and comfort. However, the Horizon's less consistent build quality and higher potential maintenance costs could diminish its value over time. On the used market, the Horizon didn't hold its value as well as the Escort, partly due to its less desirable reputation for reliability. Verdict: the Ford Escort offers better value for money in the long run. While the Talbot Horizon might be cheaper to buy initially, the Escort's better reliability, lower running costs, and stronger resale value make it the more cost-effective option overall. Safety features. Ford Escort. The Ford Escort was equipped with the safety features typical of its time, including seat belts for all passengers and head restraints for the front seats. However, more advanced safety features, such as anti-lock brakes, ABS, and airbags, were not yet standard on most models. The Escort's sturdy construction provided a decent level of protection in the event of a collision, but it was not designed with modern crash safety standards in mind. Talbot Horizon. The Talbot Horizon offered similar safety features to the Escort, with seat belts and head restraints as standard. Like the Escort, it lacked more advanced safety systems, which were not yet common in cars of this class during the late 1970s and early 1980s. The Horizon's high roofline and upright seating position provided good visibility, which was a plus for avoiding accidents, but it was similarly limited in terms of crash protection compared to modern vehicles. Verdict. Both the Ford Escort and Talbot Horizon offer comparable safety features, which were typical for their time. Neither car has a significant advantage in this category, as both lack modern safety equipment that is standard in today's vehicles. Final verdict: Ford Escort versus Talbot Horizon. After a thorough comparison, it's clear that both the Ford Escort and Talbot Horizon have their strengths and weaknesses. The Ford Escort emerges as the more well-rounded car, offering a more engaging driving experience, better build quality, and lower running costs. Its sharper design and better handling make it the choice for drivers who value performance and reliability. On the other hand, the Talbot Horizon excels in comfort and practicality, with a more spacious interior and a ride quality that prioritizes passenger comfort. It's a solid choice for those who value a comfortable and easy-to-drive car, especially for everyday use in urban environments. Summary. Design and styling. Ford Escort has a more modern and dynamic design. Performance and handling. Ford Escort offers better performance and sharper handling. Comfort and practicality. Talbot Horizon is more comfortable and practical. Build quality and reliability. Ford Escort is more reliable and better built. Fuel economy and running costs. Ford Escort has lower running costs. Driving experience and character. Ford Escort is more engaging to drive. Value for money. Ford Escort offers better long-term value. Safety features. Both cars are comparable in safety. Winner, Ford Escort. The Ford Escort takes the crown in this road test, offering a more complete package for drivers who want a reliable, engaging, and cost-effective compact car. The Talbot Horizon is still a strong contender, particularly for those who prioritize comfort and space, but it falls short in some key areas compared to the Escort.